Stop scrolling for a second and look at the headlines. Everyone on Twitter is playing constitutional lawyer today. They're arguing about whether the Friday executive order is legal or if it's permanent law. If you're a university president, you're not having that conversation. In the boardroom, we don't care about legality nearly as much as we care about liability. You don't gamble a $1 billion research endowment on a legal maybe in an election year. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on why good old State U is about to freeze their NIL ledgers, and while the Wild West just met the federal sheriff. Let's talk about the gap between the haves and the have-nots. If you're Harvard or Stanford, you've got a $50 billion endowment fund. You can afford to put a fleet of lawyers in a room and litigate against the Department of Justice for the next decade. But if you're a standard SEC, Big 12, or Big 10 school, you are tethered to federal funding. Your medical school, your engineering labs, your Pell Grants are all tied to the same federal pipeline. The feds aren't coming for the football team, they're coming for the grants. When the Department of Education says your NIL collective's lack of transparency threatens your Title IX standing, the university president doesn't call the head coach. They call the general counsel and tell them to shut it down. Uncertainty is the same as no in a billion-dollar business. For 100 years, the NCAA was the only auditor in the room. We all knew they were a paper tiger. But look at the jurisdiction shift in this executive order. Section 3 and Section 4 are the actual hammers. Section 3 isn't just about NIL, it's about federal funds. It explicitly prohibits the use of federal money for NIL schemes. But Section 4, that's the one that should keep university presidents up at night. It directs every federal agency to evaluate if a school's NIL noncompliance makes them unfit for federal grants and contracts. In business, we call this a single point of failure. If you lose your federal fitness, you do not lose a recruiting class. You lose your medical school's research budget. You lose your engineering grants. That's the only hammer that matters in a billion-dollar industry. The biggest argument I'm seeing online is, don't worry, it'll be overturned in the fall. That's a loser's strategy. Recruiting is happening now. The transfer portal is moving now. You cannot run a premier athletic department on a wait-and-see approach for 6 months. If a coach tells a booster, keep the money coming, we'll see what the judge says in October, they're setting that booster up for a tax nightmare and the university for a federal audit. Ronald Reagan once said, the most dangerous words in the English language are, we're from the government and we're here to help. Real insiders know that the Texas secret, the hiding of the ledger, is a temporary shield that's about to shatter. The board has changed. The players have changed. And most importantly, the auditor has changed. If you want to understand the 10-year projection of how this ends, not the Twitter version, but the VP level audit version, you need the manual. I wrote Agent Confidential specifically for this moment. It hit number 1 for a reason. It's the only book that treats college football like the billion-dollar industry it actually is. Get it on Amazon or click on the link in the description. I'm out of here to get back to the farm, but the board is set. I'll see you next time.